The house was too quiet. The kind of silence that presses against your eardrums like a held breath. I stood in the kitchen staring at the coffee mug she left on the counter. Her mug, the one with the chipped handle and the faded sunflower. It sat there, cold and half-empty, like a relic from a life that no longer existed. My fingers grazed the ceramic and I flinched as if it might burn me. 3 months ago, she walked out the door to find herself. 3 months ago I believed her. Now the phone in my pocket buzzed with a text from her. "I'm coming home tomorrow, Ben. We need to talk." My chest tightened, not with hope but with dread. Because I wasn't alone anymore. And the woman sleeping in our bed upstairs hadn't spent a single day searching for anything but me. The morning she left, I woke to the sound of her suitcase zipper. A sharp, deliberate rasp that cut through the dawn. I found her in the living room, her auburn hair tied back, her eyes avoiding mine. "I need space, Ben," she said, her voice steady but hollow like she'd rehearsed it. "I don't know who I am anymore." I stood there, barefoot on the cold hardwood, my mouth dry, searching for the right words. But all I managed was, "What does that even mean, Clara?" She didn't answer. She just picked up her bag and walked out, the door clicking shut with a finality that echoed in my ribs. I told myself she'd come back in a week, maybe 2. I told myself it was a phase, a midlife crisis at 32. I told myself a lot of things. For days I wandered the house like a ghost, tracing the outlines of her absence. Her side of the closet was a gaping wound, her dresses gone, her shoes missing. Only a single scarf left behind, tangled in a hanger. I didn't touch it. I couldn't. Her texts came sporadically. Vague, polite, like updates from a distant acquaintance. "Doing okay. Need time. Please understand." I read them over and over, searching for subtext, for love, for regret. There was none. I stopped texting back after a month. Not out of anger, but because I was tired of shouting into a void. I met Lily at a bookstore of all places. It was one of those rainy afternoons when the world feels like it's drowning in gray. I was thumbing through a dog-eared copy of On the Road, not because I wanted to read it, but because Clara used to quote Kerouac when she felt restless. A woman's voice broke my trance. "You look like you're trying to solve that book, not read it." I glanced up and there she was, Lily, with her dark curls and a smile that felt like sunlight through storm clouds. We talked for hours, first about books, then about life, then about nothing at all. She didn't ask about the ring on my finger. I didn't volunteer. Lily was different from Clara in every way that mattered. Where Clara was all sharp edges and restless energy, Lily was steady, grounded, her laughter warm and unforced. She worked as a baker, her hands always dusted with flour, her stories full of small, vivid details, the smell of yeast, the rhythm of kneading dough, the way her cat napped in the bakery's window. She didn't talk about finding herself. She already knew who she was. And for the first time in months, I felt like someone saw me, not as a man waiting for his wife to come back, but as Ben, flawed and human and worth knowing. By the second month, I stopped checking Clara's social media. I stopped waking up at 3 a.m. to stare at her last text. I stopped believing she'd walk through the door with an apology and a reason that made sense. Lily started coming over, her presence filling the house with warmth I hadn't realized I'd forgotten. She'd hum while cooking, her bare feet padding across the kitchen floor. And I'd watch her, wondering how I'd survived the silence before her. One night, she found Clara's scarf in the closet. She held it up, her brow furrowed. "Whose is this?" she asked, her tone light but her eyes searching. I froze, my throat tight. "It's my wife's," I said. The word wife felt like a betrayal, though I wasn't sure to whom. Lily nodded, set the scarf down, and never mentioned it again. But I saw the question in her eyes, and I hated myself for not having an answer. I didn't tell Lily that Clara was coming back. I didn't tell her about the text that landed like a grenade in my pocket. I told myself it was because I didn't know what Clara wanted, or because I needed to hear her out first. But the truth was uglier. I was afraid. Afraid of losing Lily. Afraid of facing Clara. Afraid of the man I'd become in the space between them. The morning Clara returned, I woke early, my stomach churning. Lily was still asleep, her arm draped across my chest, her breathing soft and even. I slipped out of bed, careful not to wake her, and stood in the bathroom, staring at my reflection. My eyes were bloodshot, my jaw tight. I didn't recognize myself. The doorbell rang at 10 a.m., sharp and insistent. I opened it and there she was, Clara, her hair shorter, her face tanned, but her eyes the same, green and unreadable. She wore a loose sweater, her suitcase at her feet. "Ben," she said, her voice soft like she was testing the word. I nodded, unable to speak, and let her in. The living room felt too small, the air too thick. She sat on the couch, her hands folded in her lap, and started talking. About her trip to New Mexico, about the desert, about finding peace. I listened, my heart pounding, waiting for the punchline. "I made a mistake," she said finally, her voice breaking. "I thought I needed to be alone, but I need you. I want to come home." Her eyes searched mine, and for a moment I saw the woman I married, vulnerable, real, mine. But then I heard the creak of the floorboard upstairs, and my stomach dropped. Clara's gaze snapped to the ceiling. "Who's here?" she asked, her voice sharp now like a blade. Before I could answer, Lily appeared at the top of the stairs, wearing my old flannel shirt, her hair mussed from sleep. She froze, her eyes darting between us. Clara stood, her face pale, her hands trembling. "Ben," she whispered, and the betrayal in her voice cut deeper than I'd expected. I opened my mouth, but no words came. Lily stepped back, her expression unreadable, and disappeared into the bedroom. The silence that followed was deafening. Clara left an hour later, her suitcase still packed, her eyes red but dry. She didn't yell. She didn't cry. She just looked at me, her gaze heavy with something I couldn't name. Disappointment, maybe, or disgust. "You didn't wait," she said, and it wasn't a question. I wanted to tell her I'd waited too long, that she'd left me to drown in her absence, that Lily had pulled me out. But I didn't. I just watched her walk out again, the door clicking shut like it had 3 months ago. Lily stayed, but something shifted. Her laughter was quieter, her touches hesitant. I caught her staring at Clara's mug one morning, her fingers tracing the chipped handle. "Do you still love her?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. I wanted to say no, to promise her everything, but the truth was messier. I didn't love Clara the way I used to, but she was still a ghost in my bones, a shadow I couldn't shake. Lily deserved better than half-truths, but I was too weak to give her more. The house is quiet again tonight. Lily's asleep upstairs, but I'm in the kitchen staring at that damn mug. I want to smash it to erase Clara's mark on this place, but my hand won't move. My phone buzzes, a text from Clara. "I'm sorry. I hope you're happy." I don't reply. I don't know if I'm happy. I only know I'm here, caught between the woman who left and the one who stayed, wondering if I betrayed them both.